build a factory dedicated towards creating this product because one, it's unique. Two, we know that quality control is beyond of the utmost importance to you. And three, we want to give you that read and react ability that you demonstrated is so important. So we were able to actually launch with 22 sizes from day one, which is crazy
Wow, that's
because when I was
insane.
doing the buy, one of those, three of these.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And and they knew that, and we hoped that we were going to sell out, but still be able to take orders. And luckily, that came to fruition. We sold out of our product in 2 weeks, but we still took orders, and we were able to backfill them within 14 to 30 days.
Yep. Is that also how you keep consistent and very low, to be honest, like pricing? It's very reasonable. Is that how you do that as well, or was that a sort of strategic decision from the get-go to make everything even across the board? And I think also you have to explain to people who aren't Lively customers how you guys do pricing, because entrepreneurs, that's one of the first questions they ask is like, I don't know how to do pricing. How do I do this?
Yeah, yeah. So we set out our goal, which was about simplicity. And I kind of said from the beginning, I want all of our bras to be the same price. I don't care what size, what shape, how intricate the style is. I want
Mm-hmm.
for the consumer not to have that as a a way for them to choose between styles.
Yeah.
And so we set that goal and we said, okay, and then at the same time, we want to make sure that we have a margin in place in which we could afford world-class customer service, gorgeous packaging, like beyond, like that
Mm-hmm.
net-a-porter experience, and all of these things, because it's not just about how the product makes you feel, it's about the experience of discovering the brand, receiving the product, and telling about, sharing it with your friends.
Yep.
And so, to your question about price, we price all of our bras for $35. Doesn't matter what it is. And then if you buy two, it's 55, and if you buy three, it's 75. Because having lived in this category, I know that when women buy bras, they want to get it done, and so they
Yeah.
usually buy
A
anywhere from
lot at
two to four.
once. Mm-hmm.
Exactly. And so from a business standpoint, economically, women on average will buy at least three bras from Lively in an experience. And it just makes us, it gives us the ability to put in all of those other pieces of the experience back into the customer's hands.
Yep. The nice part too about simplistic pricing is that people's brains are not, we do not have the capacity to
Right.
make the decisions, the sheer volume of decisions that we are expected to make in a day. And if you have to go in and you have to start doing math about, okay, well, is this going to cost this much? And if I buy this, then I'll get two of these. I mean, it's exhausting.
No.
So it's really great that you're really helping the customer in that sense.
Absolutely. The less friction, the better.
Yep, yep. Well, I love that you mentioned your packaging because your packaging is extremely luxurious feeling. It also, you guys tend to surprise your customers, and I noticed I got like some cute socks in my last package.
Awesome.
So, and that's really interesting too, because one of the things that Tony talks about at his Business Mastery event is that when you go to price something, you have to make sure you're not undervaluing, right? So you figure
Hmm.
out the value to the client and you price it accordingly. And a lot of people tend to undercut themselves because they're looking to the right and the left and looking at their competitors and thinking, well, oh, I have, so they're making decisions based on information that is not direct client.
Right.
But packaging it in a luxurious way is something that adds value. So
Right.
that's something that makes people feel special, taken care of. So I think you really nailed those three things, right? Broad size range, honest price, luxurious packaging.
Right.
But then you've got this one final thing that it's interesting because you mentioned that this is something that you did not feel comfortable about in the very beginning, but your customer service. So Tony has this, idea of raving fan clients and, satisfied, people say I want to satisfy my customer, but satisfied customers will go away as soon as something
Yeah.
better comes along, or maybe it's cheaper. But a
Right.
raving fan client, somebody who really feels passionate about your brand and your product, they will be loyal with you to the end, which is makes sense because you said you've got a long lifetime value for your customers. But that's really easy to say and very hard to do because there's so many customer touch points, and especially
Right.
now with digital media. So how do you even begin to provide this exceptional level of customer service with the lean team that you have and with this consistency across the board?
Sure, sure. It actually started pre-launch. When we were creating that community on Instagram, we also did an email referral campaign, which I think you read about. And
Hmm.
in that, we said to, 250 of our friends and family, we said for every person that you get to submit their email to, wearlively.com, you will get a point towards your first purchase. And we had this like pretty little cute dashboard, scale that said, 10 points equals this, 20 points, da da da. But
Nice.
nowhere in the experience did it tell you how much our bra actually cost.
Hmm.
So we're like, Harry's did this in 2011. They got 100,000 emails. We're hoping to maybe get 5,000 emails a week.
Hmm.
We released that email on a Friday around 2 o'clock. By Sunday morning, we had 133,000 emails submitted, 300,000 sessions globally.
Wow.
And
Did it
and so
crash your
I say
servers?
Oh, crashed. I mean, the thing blew up. There were, devs in bathroom stalls at
Yeah.
bars
I mean, it's
trying
a
to
good
fix
problem to
it.
have. Yeah. Yeah.
It was bananas. I'm like, wow, our company didn't even launch and we've been hacked.
Wow,
But
that's amazing.
it was real. And so at that moment, I say to people, that's actually when our company launched because that's when I turned on customer service. I
Mm,
said, we owe it to this community to be in touch with them. So we
yeah.
turned on phone, email, and chat immediately. And we were on it 24 hours a day, and there was three of us. And that was when I actually learned customer service. I started to hear what people were saying, and it was actually the most valuable time period for us as a company because we took notes to everything they said and we used it actually for marketing. We said, why do you like us? Like, what do you love about this? And those actual customer quotes became our emails and became, the
Mm,
dialogue that we started the company on. And to
yep.
this day, we go to Instagram comments and customer service to be proactive to share. Now, to your actual question, which is how do we have superior customer service? We leaned in hard on it. We just always had more customer service available than we needed, and we
Yeah.
actually look at benchmarks for companies that are not in our bucket in terms of revenue and employee count. We look at two buckets ahead and say we need to be on their level.
That's great. I mean, that's something that's great advice for any entrepreneur. If there's something you really want to excel at, don't look to your peers, don't look to the people in your category or in your revenue range. You look ahead. No, that's
Correct.
brilliant. Yeah. So it sounds like everything was going really well. When you went into this Shopify experience where you were in Fiji and talking to Tim Ferriss and Marie Forleo and Joe Gebbia and Tony, what were some of your pain points going into that?
Yeah, I think that Tony kind of nailed it where he identified what my pain point was. And honestly, like going
Mm,
into it, I didn't know what it was. I
mm,
knew that I knew our company was growing, incredibly fast. I knew our team was growing incredibly fast. And I had this like sense of unease